Education is such a marvelous system that we have devised. We take all the knowledge that humans have learned in the past millennia, weed out the mistakes, organize all the component elements within a comprehensive framework and a multi-layered structure, and we encapsulate everything into a 15 or 20-year study and offer it to our youngsters. One of the processes by which we have accomplished this organization and this abridgment is condensing knowledge of life experience into a series of generalized, abstract mental principles. Often, in the process of teaching the abstractions divorced from context, much precious knowledge is lost and the relevance to the real world becomes obscure. As a result, the sanitized abstractions, they fail to touch the experience and the personality of the student or to awaken real interest in the subject. This failure is illustrated by the frustration of a young psychology student who eagerly enrolled in a course on personality theory at a top American university to learn about the inner workings of his own personality and that of others. He was disappointed to discover that the entire course, it concerned only the theoretical constructs of famous theorists, devoid of application and insight to the real world human beings. He was later gratified to hear that the advice of another psychology professor that the best way to understand human psychology is to read Shakespeare. We normally regard literature as fiction and we rarely resort to literary examples to illustrate scientific principles, but life as depicted in literature is not merely the product of a writer's imagination. All great literature reflects realities of human character, society, values, aspirations. An understanding of the French Revolution is not complete without understanding the impact that it had on the neighboring countries. In the novel Pride and Prejudice, author Jane Austen depicts with profound insight how England avoided revolutionary war between the classes by permitting upward social mobility and marriages between members of the different classes. The psychology professor who recommended reading Shakespeare might well have added that what is true of psychology and literature is more generally true of other forms of contextual knowledge, including case studies, cinema, history, biography, art, which can offer similar benefits to students of so many subjects: economics, politics, law, business, even the physical sciences. Education becomes contextualized this way, a point that both Gary and Winston just mentioned, when studied within the physical, social, and cultural circumstances characterizing real life situations. And this makes education come to life. We will be hearing more about values from Dr. Pratt later now. Values have been recognized as an essential driver of business excellence. Apple company's products, we know the iPhone, the iPad, they're all remarkable examples of success stories, business successes. The company's organization, its engineering expertise, management, marketing savvy, all these were important contributing factors in the success. But a deeper driver was its founder, Steve Jobs' commitment to high values, values such as simple but elegant design, ease of use, and perfection. These made the products a success. Now, this understanding, it illustrates the value of values. The point about values is not so widely recognized in economics. Economics touches people's lives directly, but the study of the subject, it rarely brings out the human, the social dimensions. Economic theory, it does recognize the viability of a monetary system is based on the value of public trust. But now, to illustrate this, an example from history or biography, it can convert the abstract principle into a living reality. The US banking crisis of 1933, it led to the closure of more than 6,000 banks. On assuming office as president, Franklin Roosevelt, he rejected the monetary principles that he had learned and economics course at Harvard, and he appealed directly to the emotions of the American people. He addressed them on radio and asked them to reject the sense of panic that was actually destroying the financial system. He asked them to exhibit courage and trust in themselves and pride in their nation, and to leave their money in the banks. This appeal, this halted the panic, and it paved the way for legislation that ensured the stability of the system for the next 7 decades. Now, organization. This is a fundamental principle behind social evolution in every field, be it commercial, economic, social, political, everything. But the true power of organization is rarely brought forth with sufficient clarity and emphasis. Now, a 5-minute clip from the opening scene of the movie Gladiator, some screenshots which are now visible on the screen, these bring to life the power of organization. It depicts a fierce assembly of fearless German tribesmen fighting for their very survival against the quiet, disciplined orderliness of the Roman military mission, and being quickly annihilated by the organizational precision more than the strength, courage, or determination. These life examples may perhaps be more suited to some subjects than to others, but even in the hard sciences, a study of the very human process of scientific discovery can convey valuable knowledge. Like Copernicus's heliocentric theory, it is easy to comprehend in principle, but the social and psychological process that he went through in even contemplating, in pronouncing heretical ideas in the face of entrenched knowledge of the times is as relevant today as it was during his own lifetime. An important part of the research today, it is taking place in technology, in energy development, in business. In these fields, leadership, organizational management, relating to people, to social needs, all these are essential. So the social, I'm just concluding in half a minute. So the social context is as important in the physical science as in the social sciences. And so when we talk about education of the future, this gap between the concept and social relevance must be bridged. And in order to place education within a context, we can use art, contemporary events, literature, history, biography. And this can transform education from a 2-dimensional image into a 3-dimensional holograph. Thank you.